So now over, now over to Senator Frances Black, chairperson of the Oireachtas Sub-Committee on Mental Health. Where are you, Frances? Can you hear us?
Hear me okay?
Yes, can hear you. We can't see you.
There you go. I get so anxious around technology sometimes. Great to see you, Dill, and thank you so much for inviting me to speak today. Honestly, it's truly an honour to join you, and especially as the newly elected chairperson of the Oireachtas Mental Health Committee. And I've just been elected onto that subcommittee, and I'm the chair, and I'm really, really honoured to be invited. This is my first speaking engagement as chair. So I just want to start off by saying a huge thank you to the huge thank you to the organisers, Mental Health Reform, Belong To, and LGBT Ireland for putting on this absolutely fantastic event, and also the HSE for funding it. I mean, no doubt about it, all of the speakers this morning were absolutely outstanding, and especially those speakers who shared their stories. Today is a very important day where we learn and discuss some of the realities for mental health within the LGBTI community, while also celebrating and honouring all that it means to be part of such an important community in our society. So I suppose I just want to start, and I hope this is okay, to give you a very brief synopsis of the Mental Health Subcommittee and what's happening in the Oireachtas. And it's been formed as part of the Health Committee. And I'm so happy to see something I have worked on so hard to create finally come to fruition. It's an important moment for the future of mental health in Ireland. And the main focus on this subcommittee is to examine the effects of mental health during the COVID-19 crisis, which is inevitable at an all-time low due to the isolation. I think everybody is really impacted at some level, and then others are extremely impacted. And it's been a very difficult year for us all, and I think for some it has been really, really difficult. So yeah, I mean, just to come back to your meeting today, Professor Higgins said this morning that while the vast majority of people in the LGBTI community are doing well, there's a large group of people who have significant mental health needs, and this group require high quality and sometimes specialist supports. And that's why I believe that this subcommittee is very, very important. We've also heard that there's some wonderful work going on across the country in terms of development of services and support, and that's really, really good to hear, such as peer support services for people with mental health difficulties. However, what's very clear is that we're still a long way from the holistic mental health supports that are necessary for people in the LGBTI community who experience huge distress. And though so much has been achieved in Ireland over the last number of years in terms of recognising and valuing the rights of people in the LGBTI community, it's disappointing and concerning that adequate mental health supports are still not readily available and easy to access to anyone who needs them wherever they are in Ireland. While the struggle still remains to secure full equality for LGBTI people, we understand that the mental well-being has to be prioritised. Like when I looked at the 2018 report carried out by Belong To, I was shocked to hear that 90% of Irish LGBTI and youth struggle with their mental health. That's a huge number. And also the fact that nearly half of LGBTI individuals felt reluctant to open up about their mental health due to perceived expectations that they should feel happy in a post-marriage referendum Ireland. Nobody should have to conceal their emotional state on account of societal progress. I mean, this felt massively unjust to me when I read it, and it's just simply not acceptable. And also it came as a surprise that 56% of respondents don't want to worry their parents or friends about mental health issues, feeling pressure to appear, I suppose, content once they have come out as LGBTI. I mean, everyone deserves like a safe place to be brave and share their worries and fears, regardless of how they identify. Everyone deserves that. So I mean, look, I'm so happy to be here this morning. And while it's clear that because so many LGBTI have struggled with mental health difficulties, we cannot allow it to continue to form part of the LGBTI experience, because that just leaves room for the individual to have to learn to accept it and struggle on alone. And this is just not the case. We should never have to struggle alone. And I believe that the mental well-being of members of the LGBTI community is incredibly important, and something that needs to be addressed within the mental health committee, the subcommittee that I'm very honoured to be chairing. And I think this is, so that no member of society feels diminished, forgotten, and has to struggle alone. So look, I don't want to take up, I know it's been a very, very long morning for you all, and I'm sure you're all gasping for a cup of tea. I just want to again say sincerely thank you everyone who spoke, and especially those who shared their own experiences this morning, because that's the heart of it all. And look, it brings awareness to the importance of mental health within the LGBTI community, so that we can all work together towards a much better future for holistic mental health care in Ireland. So thank you so much again for asking me. Great to see you, Dill. And I hope you go off now, everybody, and have a nice cup of tea and a nice relaxing afternoon for yourselves. Go Mila Mahaga.
Thank you so much, Senator Frances Black, and thank you for making your first speaking engagement as Chairperson of the Oireachtas Sub-Committee on Mental Health to us. So today we've had two firsts. We had your first speaking engagement, and we had Felicia coming out as being queer. I mean, come on.
Amazing.
Celebration with Pop the Champagne. So a huge thank you to all the speakers. I'm not going to name them all, but they were absolutely superb, every single one of them. Thankfully, this event has been recorded, so it can be watched. For those of you who are part of organizations, please share this information with your colleagues and help them to become allies, because as to use Colette's words were, let us spread the allyship, because I know this, you are here, you're allies, but we need to recruit more allies. So remember that. So just a few thank yous for today. The speakers, of course. Tom Duke has done an incredible job. He's of Digital Revolutionaries. He's the man who kept everything going today. And we didn't have any technical glitches. That is amazing. That has got to be a first. A huge thank you to Orla O'Brien, our graphic recorder. Her images are coming out via Twitter at MHReform on Twitter. And also let you know, we were trending on Twitter, so that's pretty awesome. So that's because you guys have been tweeting. So thank you so much for that. Thank you to Erica Balfour for her mindfulness from Mindfulness Center for our morning yoga and mindfulness that feels so very long ago. Can I just say? And of course, the teams at Mental Health Reform, LGBT Ireland, and Belong to you. You're all fantastic. Thank you so much for asking me to be part of this event. Literally 1 minute. There's a few things I really want you to take away with you. And that is, remember, we're not using the term minority stress anymore. We're using embedded structural trauma, because that's what it is when LGBTQI plus people experience any form of discrimination, prejudice, or are treated differently. It's trauma. So let's call it for what it is instead of calling it minority stress, because that is just minimizing the experience. I'm heartened to see mainstream services like Mental Health Reform really jumping on board in creating a more inclusive mental health service, because so far it's always been LGBTQ services doing this. So it's brilliant to see mainstream services doing their bit, because if all the services around Ireland did their bit, then LGBTQI plus people from all over the country would be able to access their local services and didn't feel they had to get on a bus and come to Dublin. Another big takeaway from today is, when you go to your workplaces or check out your website of your organization that you work for, try and have a rainbow, or a little symbol to show the LGBTQ person coming in through your doors, whether it's on your website or whether your physical offices, that you are an LGBTQI plus affirming service, that you're an ally. And as one of the social workers said, sometimes just seeing that rainbow can help the client go, I'm safe. And that is incredible. Just one very small gesture. So spread the allyship. Thank you so much for today. You've been amazing. And we are 2:00 back on. Stay well and mind your mental health. And this is Dil Vikram Singh wishing you very well. And again, thank you for today.